Yep. Okay, the time is 9 a.m. We'll be meeting of Seward County Board of Commissioners. The open meeting that is posted on the walls required and copies are available upon request. Please stand as we recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please make sure your phones are silent. Curtis.
Here.
McCarrick.
Here.
Hine. Here. Zabrowski.
Here.
Ahmed. Here. Go to item number 3, which is approving minutes from August 4th, 2026. If there are any changes, we'll take a motion.
Move we approve the minutes of August 4, 2026. Second.
Please call the roll. Zabrowski.
Yes.
McCarrick.
Yes.
Hine. Abstain, not present. Curtis.
Abstain, not present.
Ahmed. Yes, that is 3-4-2 abstaining to approve the minutes of August 4th, 2026. Item number 4 is claims through July 31st, 2026. Any discussion about claims?
Got nothing. I had nothing.
All right, then we'll take a motion.
I will move that we approve claims through July 31st, 2026.
Second.
Please call the roll. Hine.
Yes.
McCarrick.
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Yes.
Curtis.
Abstain.
Ahmed. Yes. All right, 4-4-1 abstaining to approve claims through July 31st, 2026.
Item number 5 is our consent agenda that consists of the county clerk fee report for July 2026 in the amount of $40,464.10. District court fee report for July 2026 in the amount of $3,341.93. And the sheriff's fee and mileage reports for June 2026 in the amount of $1,542 and $1,023.85. Do we have a motion for the consent agenda?
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second. Please call a roll.
Zabrowski.
Yes.
Hine.
Yes.
McCarrick.
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
Yes, that's 5-4-0 opposed to approving the consent agenda. Item number 6 is anyone from the public wish to speak? Anyone? Okay. Any organizations present? No organizations. Any officials? Morning.
Morning.
Gotta push that button.
Hi. So, as you're aware, last week the Board of Commissioners appointed the Aging Services Program Manager based on the hiring committee's recommendation, and she started yesterday. This is Alicia Fisher. She is our new Aging Services Program Manager, so I just wanted to bring her up and introduce her and let her tell you a little bit about herself.
Welcome.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. So I grew up in Nebraska. I graduated from Sterling High School, grew up around the Tecumseh Sterling area. Before this, I've been working in Kansas for K-State Extension as their family community wellness and 4-H agent. During my time there, I did a lot of stuff with aging adults. It was super rural community, so definitely a very large need for that. During that time, I kind of wanted to come home. And this opportunity presented itself. So I'm really excited to be here and be your new aging services manager.
Thank you, Alicia.
Thank you.
Glad to have
Welcome.
you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Any questions for Alicia, right?
Alicia,
Okay,
yeah.
got it. I'm
Yes.
sorry. Okay. Thank you so much. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, any other officials? All right, seeing none, we'll go to item number 7, which is commissioner reports, and Reagan, we'll start with you.
Okay, I had a short week as I was out of town most of the week last week. I did have a call with Wendy, the county attorney, and Sergeant Legband with the sheriff's department regarding the jail's budget line for outside boarding costs. So I had said during the jail's public hearing that I would follow up on that to better understand how that works. There is a requested increase in that line amount, and there is one individual who has basically been extradited 3 times. So in my opinion, I don't really think that we can change that line amount, and the reason for that is that the judge is the one who sets the bond amount, and the individual did bond out several times. But I did learn from Wendy yesterday that as part of that bond, those fees are actually put back into um, essentially general fund budget under reimbursements. And so there are some funds that are being recuperated for that. It just doesn't go back into the jail's budget. So I found that to be super helpful. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to do some orientation with Alicia to the West Wing. So I introduced her to the members of the Extension Office, Public Transit, and Veteran Service Office. Everybody was super gracious and welcoming. They all offered support and help as needed. Uh, Jill Engel from Aging Partners will be there this morning. Alicia will not be here for the budget hearing. I didn't feel like it was necessarily appropriate for her to be here on day 2 when she didn't have any input. She is familiar with county budgets because she did have to put together a county budget for her role at Extension, so she does have budget experience. I will review that with her at a later date. I felt that it was necessary and more important for her to get into the Aging Partners programs because the computers in her office do belong to the City of Lincoln in Aging Partners, and she can't get into any of the files until she is basically onboarded through them. So I felt that it was in her best interest as well as the counties to get her acclimated and going with that training. So she's going to be doing that with Jill this morning. And I will be following up with her as well. One suggestion that I did have, and then, you know, Missy and Daryl, I'm going to kind of look to the two of you, is that I think it would be beneficial if you could arrange times to meet with the senior center directors in Milford and in Seward and introduce Alicia to
Yeah,
them.
for sure.
I will do that on behalf of the Utica Senior Center, so I will take her there. We'll arrange a time. Um, Alicia did give permission for us to go ahead and arrange those appointments, and then she'll just work it around her schedule
Okay.
as to what
do
times
that.
work best for us
Yep.
and for them. So if you could help out with that, that would be great. I did have a brief meeting with the highway superintendent, the assistant superintendent, and Heidi, the administrative assistant. They have some pretty significant concerns about their budget and some of the cuts that have been made. So they are requesting to do a callback. So they will be coming back in for a callback. I also did meet briefly with Jonathan on Friday afternoon, I believe. We met for just about an hour just to briefly go over the budget and to give him a heads up as to what budget hearings we would be having today so that he could begin that review process. That's all I have.
Thank you. Daryl?
Okay, things were pretty light for me last week. I didn't have a great deal of activity. There was, however, a city council meeting, and I was able to attend that. Couple of things. They will be, if you haven't seen or heard already, they will be moving a house through Seward, ironically today. It'll come from York. It'll come right down Highway 34, take a right turn on Columbia and go all the way south to a foundation that's been poured. Yeah, I think it's a stem wall that's been poured down across from the horseshoe and the wastewater treatment plant. There were some fireworks sales changes made basically to permanently allow the sale of bottle rockets. That was something that was done for one time over the 4th of July 250 anniversary celebration. They appear to have an appetite to make that permanent now. The rest of the stuff was just kind of the regular run-of-the-mill things that they normally do. I have been doing some things with the public service director. She is in place. She will be here for the budget this morning. She and I have been through it. We've had discussions around it. So, and she was wanting to come, so I said, come on up. We'll sit at the table if we have to together and we'll present the budget. So she'll be here for that. We're making progress since she's taken the reins down there. We have got the April grant fund completed and sent up for review. So she's made inroads with the people at the NDOT office around how to do that. So we're moving forward with that. She's also receiving training on the Trip Master program, which would allow her to dispatch rides on an as-need basis. We do have 2 applicants for the part-time dispatcher position, and I won't be involved with those. She and Tiffany more than likely will handle the interviews for those 2 candidates, and we'll see what we get out of that. Going forward into next week, I will have another city council meeting, and I do have a NERMA board meeting in the latter part of the week, so I'll be out of town Thursday and Friday. That's all I got.
Thank you. I received a couple calls regarding zoning regulations. One of them specifically was regarding data centers and just questioning, what the process will be moving forward, and offering support. So I did appreciate that. There's a lot, I get a lot of questions about what that process is going to be. I did get quite a few road related calls this last week. None of them were in my own district. So I think sometimes people just look at the website and I just happen to be the first one. So they pick up the phone and call. Fortunately, I think Trevor and John did a good job at responding. So I appreciate them for that. Been working with Brandy a lot on the budget. I think we talk about the budget every day, pretty much. A lot of budget work. Also worked with the zoning and emergency management office on some sort of organizing and moving around that they're doing. Scott's involved with that as well. Had a Safe Streets and Roads grant meeting, and so that was just the county and JEO. We just wanted to clarify sort of end game or what we're hoping to get out of it. I think we're all back on track and it looks good for the county. Worked with the solid waste management exec committee, so we are redoing the bylaws. We do have a draft. It's super simplified. It'll be going back to the board first week of August or October, and then if the board signs off, it'll come back to all of our boards to review. So really, the change there is it's just simplifying some really complex bylaws. Had an SECDP executive team meeting. As you all probably saw, we do have an executive director who's accepted, and we're anxious to get him here and started. He seems like a great fit. Also was able to schedule time with each of the NRDs. So John Moore came last week. You were not here for that presentation, but we asked him to move forward with just a scope of work on what that study would look like. And so it will, we are on the meetings in September, or there's a committee meeting. One is a committee meeting, one is a board meeting. So Lower Platte South and Upper Big Blue. And so I will just attend with Scott. I will make sure to get you those dates too if you want to attend, Scott, just to explain what the scope is and what we're hoping to gain out of this. So excited about that. And then also, as Reagan mentioned, I was able to have a conversation with the Roads Department about a callback. And so we will get to that eventually. That's it for me. Scott?
All right, pretty light week. As Misty mentioned, we did have a meeting with zoning and emergency management. Zoning was particularly on what we'll see coming up here in the agenda with the House. And emergency management was how to fit the two departments in the same area a little bit better. Had a lot of conversation with both directors as far as how to make this work and how to make it more efficient as well. So did have a few road calls. I did follow up with Trevor about one driveway had got cut out pretty bad from the rain, and it was one of those deals where the water couldn't get into the ditch, and so it went across the front of the driveway. Did have a little discussion when I met with Roads Department concerning budgets as well. That's about all I got.
Okay, thank you, Scott. Jonathan, welcome. If you want to just take some time
Sure.
to.
Well, thank you for supporting me and encouraging me. I appreciate that. Had an interesting interview on Thursday. It was the weirdest thing I've ever been through in my life, I believe.
Been there.
But honored to be here. I actually again met with Reagan and Daryl and called a candidate about different questions. Met with Brandy as well on Roxanne and Tiffany, getting Parshing onboarded, and I also met with Mayor Eichmeyer and Administrator Butcher on Monday as well.
Sounds good. Well, we're happy to have you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so we will just take a quick 20-second pause before 9:15 timed item. I just want to make sure.
Forgot to mention that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that yesterday, but I was Okay, we'll go to our 9:15 timed item, which is hearing from CASA on their annual update and request for funding. Morning, Shelby.
Good morning.
It's okay. It's okay.
I can share. Orange was also running on the week, so it's a little sketchy, but overall we had a really successful year. I would say this past year was different because we were in the process of getting a new judge, and in that time frame there were a lot less cases filed than we would typically see in Seward County, so that made for some weird numbers and things. I'm very interested to see how this next year goes. Now that the judge is a little bit more comfortable, she'll be seeing some of those petitions come in for removal of children. But it was kind of a funky year with Judge Peterson retiring and then just different things. So we served, I think, I don't have it in front of me now, but 24 kids in Seward County or 26? 26. Okay, so 26 kids, which actually was the exact same as last fiscal year. We had 15 volunteers that were working with those kids. So some of those kids were sibling sets, some of those were our volunteers taking another case after their initial case closed. On that second page, I put, just so you guys could see all of the counties for the last four or 5 years. So you can see how our numbers have stayed pretty much consistent. I showed that last year too. Again, I'm curious to see how this next year goes. We've seen a rise in cases in Jefferson and Thayer counties, so that will be interesting. Jefferson is actually higher numbers than Saline County right now, which is pretty unheard of. So they've had a lot of stuff going on there. That success story on the front page is actually a case from Seward County. So when you have time, read that. It was pretty neat to be a part of that with our volunteer Tori. And then the kiddos she served wanting to follow in her footsteps with a law degree. But yeah, that was kind of our year. We hired someone new because Stephanie left. So Katie Langner works for us now, and she's been a great addition. She supports all of our Seward County volunteers and then is helping with fundraising and things like that. So our request, I talked to Scott a little bit, but our request was going to remain the same for Seward County. We asked for a 10% increase from all of the other 3 counties. So far, I've heard from Thayer that they agreed to that. It's like they give the least amount. So I want to say it's like 750 more than what they've given. And then waiting to hear from Jefferson and Saline County still. So,
Okay. Thanks, Shelby. Any questions? All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you, Shelby.
Okay, let's go back to our untimed items. Number 8 is annual fraud inquiry from GBE. We just did one of these, but we're going to do it again. And since Reagan received the email this time, Reagan is going to read through the questions.
Okay.
And I do have the one from last time just as reference because I'm sure our answers would be very similar.
Yep. So question number 1 is, are you aware of any actual suspected or alleged fraud affecting the county?
No.
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 Are you aware of any significant weaknesses or concerns regarding the county's internal controls designed to prevent or detect fraud?
No.
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 Are you aware of any instances where county employees, officials, or management failed to comply with the county's code of conduct, ethics policies, or expected business practices?
Yes.
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 No.
That's okay. We had to provide an explanation. What we answered last time was that there were policy violations were committed by the public transit director and the Seward County Sheriff's Department. I would believe that would still be the same. Correct? Okay.
Correct.
Are you aware of any actual or suspected violations of laws, regulations, grant requirements, contracts, or other legal obligations by the county?
No.
No.
No. Let's see. If the county uses third-party service providers, are you aware of any fraud, non-compliance, significant deficiencies, or uncorrected errors involving those providers?
No.
No.
No. Are you aware of any significant unusual transactions entered into by the county during the year that may warrant additional consideration by the auditors?
No.
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 To your knowledge, did any significant unusual transactions involve county officials, employees, family members, affiliated organizations, or other related parties?
No.
No.
Are there any other matters related to fraud, ethics, compliance, internal controls, or financial reporting that you believe should be brought to our attention?
No.
No.
No. That's it.
Okay, you'll send the reply.
What?
You'll send a reply.
I sure can.
All right. So we will take a 15-minute recess before our 9:35 timed item. can go out there and look. Will you let me know?
Yeah, I'll go out there and take a look, but he wants us to gravel it when it's a dirt mile or a dirt road.
That is why it looked the way that he did.
Yeah, it's a dirt road.
Minimum maintenance in there.
But is his residence located off of that minimum maintenance? That I know exactly where that is now.
It's
That
just-
was a little confusing. I was like,
He's
why
on the
haven't I?
field out there.
We can at least grade the minimum maintenance, but we're not gonna put gravel on it. Okay. All right.
I'm ready.
Ready? All right. The time is 9:35. We'll go to our, sorry, 9:37. We'll go to our 9:35 timed item, which is a roads department request for funds to pay legal dump site of tires in ditch.
Yeah, so we got called on this on the 27th of July, which we're pretty sure that the dumping probably happened that weekend of the fair because none of the grass was dead around there. It's probably, if we were to load it up, it's anywhere from 1 to 2 dump truck loads worth of passenger car tires. I mean, we're just requesting either the board pay for this because we just don't have the funds available in
Yeah.
our budget. So we get reimbursed from the state. We'll get reimbursed for the equipment, the man hours, the tire disposal fee. So essentially, we're just asking for the disposal fee to be paid for, and then when the state reimburses us, you guys get back more than what you paid for.
Can I ask a question? No, regardless, we have to clean it up and we have to pay for it. But I feel like this would be a really good use of solid waste management funds because this is what they want to do. They want to keep these things out of the dump. I know that we want to get it cleaned up, but
Mhm.
is this something where we could wait until the October meeting to see if it's something that they would approve?
Well, yeah, it's just we need to get them cleaned up now. So we'll at least start the paperwork for
Okay.
the illegal dump site and all that.
Would you be able to do a couple things for me? Would you be able to send me some pictures and then just
Yeah.
the expected amount that it will take? And then I will take that to the board and then I could bring it back. It would be that first week of October.
Yeah, not a problem.
That would be helpful.
Yep, and it's on Fletcher, just east of 154th.
Okay.
So, and we've already talked with the landowner. He's given us permission to go back into his field because it's a pretty steep embankment if we were to go off the road.
Yeah.
So,
Are we gonna have to pull that out with the excavator then? Is that it?
well, since we can go back into his field, we'll be able to use our skid loader.
Okay.
Does this happen all the time?
Well, we have tire
Quite a
cleanup
bit.
events for that reason, yeah, because they end up just doing exactly what he said.
Not usually this is a much larger amount.
Well,
than
yeah,
what's typically
yeah.
found. This is significant.
Some random person just dumped tires.
Yeah.
This is something that had to have been done with a dump truck, I would assume, right?
Dump truck or a dump trailer,
Mm-hmm.
because there's a significant amount out there.
I think we all do.
Yeah, and the only reason why the guy saw it is he was out there bailing his field.
Is it
So-
something that may have come across county lines? That's 154th was out there close to the line.
Okay, so if you can just, regardless, I think what you're asking for is we need to pay for it out of somewhere up front and then potentially we'll get a reimbursement from the state, but we could also potentially get a reimbursement from solid waste.
So those tires are hauled to Butler County, right?
Yeah, that's where we typically haul them.
I mean, is that something we can get it cleaned up now? And maybe hold that until after October?
Yeah, so I'll just be requesting reimbursement for that from solid waste. So that's fine. Yeah. So then we could pay for it initially out of inheritance, and then if we were to get that reimbursement, the reimbursement would need to go back into inheritance. Would that work?
I'm good with that.
Yep, and like I said, you guys will just be paying for just the disposal fee,
And
but
then
then
we get,
the reimbursement will be for equipment, wages,
Yeah.
all that. So you'll be getting a little extra back.
Well,
We
so
got
that
the
would go
sheriff
back in
out there to
general,
look at this too,
but
right?
from
Yeah,
solid waste, it would go into-
the landowner called dispatch, and that's when we got notified. So
Okay.
Okay, so do we want to take a motion for that then? Just to say where we would pay it out. Do you have an expected amount, John?
I don't.
It would be helpful to know
I'm not sure what Butler County charges us.
per ton.
Yeah,
Can you guess?
maybe might be $100 a ton, maybe. I'm not sure.
So can we just say like an up to amount, not to exceed? Give me a number.
Just to cover it, if you say 3,000, I would
Okay.
say that should be more than enough.
Everybody okay with
So
that?
5 just to cushion it.
Someone want to make a motion?
I'll move that we extend authority to the roads department to clean up an illegal dump site with the funds to effectively clean the matter up coming from inheritance funds pending the acquisition of a reimbursement possibly from solid waste management, with those funds then being returned to the inheritance fund if they are received,
Not to exceed
not to exceed $5,000.
5,000. Okay. All right. Do we have a
I
second?
second it.
You can. Thank you. Love that.
We
All
got a
right.
first.
All right. Can you please call the roll?
Zabraki,
Yes.
Curtis,
Yes.
Herrick,
Yes.
Hein,
Yes.
Ahmed.
Yes, that is 540 opposed to approving the roads department to utilize up to $5,000 in inheritance to be for cleaning up an illegal dump site of tires to be reimbursed by the state or solid waste management. Thank you. Okay, we'll go to our next item, which is resolution 3944, which is the annual certification of program compliance for the Nebraska Board of Public Roads Classification and Standards. Can you please run through this and explain it for Jonathan too?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, so essentially, this is our yearly compliance with the state, just saying that we have a 1 in 6 year road plan in place. We're following all minimum design standards put forth by the Board of Examiners through the state. Basically, just making sure that me as the highway superintendent am doing my job correctly, and we're following all of the state statutes that are put in place that govern the board that oversees my position. Okay. And it also releases the allocated funds through the state that would come to the county also.
Like that? Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
Kind of the down and dirty version.
Take a motion?
Is this something that you had sent to Barb's office for review, or?
I sent it to Barb. Or I said I was gonna put it on because it's from the state anyway, and it's the same thing we do every year, so, we can't change it regardless.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Move to approve resolution 3944 for the annual certification of program compliance for the Nebraska Board of Public Roads Classifications and Standards.
Second.
Please call the roll.
McCarrick,
Yes.
Hein,
Yes.
Zabraki,
Yes.
Curtis,
Yes.
Ahmed.
Yes, that is 540 opposed to approving resolution 3944. John, can you do me a favor and sign this one really quick?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Here's the first copy.
Brady, I'll stop over and I'll get the original permit.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So it
Uh,
might be the end of the day.
Which is fine.
Okay,
I'm going to be out of the office most of the day out there, unfortunately. So.
okay, I'll have it ready.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, John. That one. You want that page back? Okay.
That's what it's. You're saying over here, I say. Oh, gotcha.
Okay, well, Scott's finishing up. We'll go to our 9:45 timed item, which is review. review the non-compliance with building permit number 51-2025 and consider necessary action. Morning, Marissa.
Good morning.
Okay, so you sent us some information on this. You want to walk us through?
So I had issued this permit last July, and as it was approved as it was submitted. And then the assessor's office was out doing their review, and they had sent me some pictures of the building, and it is not what the permit shows.
Okay, so what was permitted and what was built?
So what was permitted, the difference in them is that on what they built, it has what appears to be a second story. There's a door that goes up there, so that tells me that there's some sort of space up there. And in the permit, it does not show a second story.
I see.
The thing with this is it's an accessory dwelling unit, and so if this puts us over our 600 square foot, that is outside of regulation.
It looks like in the permit, it says that it's being permitted for 600 square foot. And by the pictures, we're saying it's likely not. So just the first floor was 20 foot by 30 foot. And so then there's another level likely. So if it's a whole nother level, that makes it 1,200 square feet, which is double, right? So that's the issue. Okay. The plans definitely don't look like the photos. It looks like they just went up one level, right? From the original, yeah.
Did they misunderstand what they filled out, or is this intentional? We don't know.
Likely not.
It doesn't look like the original plans that were submitted had an upstairs.
I was just looking to see if maybe the peak just went up or they added a extra window, but it doesn't look like that. Have we contacted them to ask or to do an inspection?
I have not. I didn't know what steps I needed to take.
Oh, that's definitely a second story. I just saw the door with probably a patio that's going to be put on there is what it's looking like on
Or
the second floor.
egress, stairway.
Maybe. Okay.
What are the county's options here?
Well, that's why we're here to discuss today, Jonathan. So we've been talking about this and talking about what would happen. Unfortunately, this does happen occasionally where someone will change their building plans or, add things. That's part of building, I think. But when it is against regulation or basically puts us in non-compliance, that's when we have to have the discussion. So this definitely is not in compliance because the square footage would exceed the allowable of an accessory dwelling, potentially doubling it. So we need to figure out what action the board would like to take. And then based on instructions we've been given, we would have to work with the county attorney's office to help with that. So looking to the board.
Well, I think if there hasn't been an inspection of the property done at this point, I think, in my opinion, that would be the logical next step is to contact the individual who was issued the permit to do an inspection of the property. I mean, the images show that it's clearly not in alignment with what was permitted based on the plans that were submitted to the county. And so I think that, again, in my opinion, I think that would be the logical next step is to have an inspection done to ensure that it truly is what it looks like. So then after that, then we can take appropriate action.
Okay.
What would the appropriate action be after that? Because I'm looking at the pictures and they're not what what the plans are. So I think that would be just kicking the can down the road a little bit, not knowing what direction. I think what Marissa's wanting is direction. Okay, yeah, she can go out and look at it, verify that the pictures are exactly what she's seeing. But what would be the next steps? I mean, this needs to go to the county attorney's office, and there, at what point do they just say, we've got this? Um, is I guess I don't see the need for the inspection is what I'm getting at.
I think you have to do an inspection either way.
You gotta
You
inspect,
have to have the proof that
Okay,
you
the
gotta know what's on that
inspection-
second floor.
that states that there truly is a second floor. I mean, can we assume 100%? But at the same time, I mean, due diligence would say that
Okay.
the inspection is done to
it's-
factually state that this is out of compliance because of X, Y, and Z, and there has been an inspection that has been completed of the property. I'm not saying that we're kicking the can down the road. I would say that that is the logical next step, that needs to be done.
Okay.
And then as far as a referral to the county attorney's office, Barb, I'm going to ask you, in this situation, what would that look like? The board then needs to make a recommendation that the county attorney's office do what?
I don't have any idea until.
Okay, so I think what Scott's saying is, let's assume we do the inspection, we go out, it is exactly what it appears to be. I think what Scott's question is, what recommendation can the board make to the county attorney's office? Because based on what we've been discussing the last couple of weeks, you said the board would need to take action, making a recommendation to the county attorney's office to take some sort of action against this. So in the in the building or the regulations, it says that obviously they can face a separate misdemeanor for every single day. And then there's the up to $500 fine. So is that what we are recommending? Is that the county attorney, if it comes back that the county attorney's office takes action on that, are we asking them to hold to the regulation and say for each day, how many days do we even say? I think these are all questions that we need answered.
You have to do the inspection, and I think you have to determine that if there is actually an ADU up there, measure it out, and does it actually comply? Because my guess is it's going to be bigger than what we probably will allow for anyway. So at that point, it comes back to, do we give them another option of getting another permit with the idea that you have to bring this into compliance, knock down a few walls, bring it back into compliance. I'm not going to bring a D9 Caterpillar to your driveway this time. But the thrust of it would be is to bring it into compliance. And if they refuse to bring it into compliance, I think then we send it over to the county attorney and we start looking at misdemeanors and so much a day and all of that other stuff. Now that puts a little bit of an onus back on Marissa to go out and have a look at this thing and determine just exactly what is there. And if what is there comports with a regulation, fine. If it doesn't comport, then we have to make it comport, and we give them another permit. It basically says you did more than what you were supposed to. You're going to pay an additional fee for another permit. And I think because this happened prior to the fees that we established for out of compliance or not
No, the unpermitted fees were in place.
in
when this
place,
was permitted.
then at that point we go with the unpermitted fees. I think we use the county attorney as a measure of last resort.
I have one question. If for some reason they don't allow me to go inside to look at what is up there, then do I just report that back to the commissioners that they won't want me see what's up there?
So so yes, I think you would report back that that's the case, and you would let them know that you'll be bringing it back for action unless it's something that they're willing to do. So, the problem with just making it unpermitted fees is then that just becomes an excuse. So, okay, I want this, it's against regulation, it's out of compliance, so I'm just going to pay the fees and it's over. I can just do whatever I want. I'm hesitant to just say, you pay the fees, you get a pass. I think it's you pay the fees and you need to appear because you have done something that was not permitted and is not compliant. And in the regulations, it says that you will be held to a misdemeanor for every single day and up to $500 a day.
So do you make them remove what's been built?
I mean, ultimately, Barb has said this. Nobody is going to make us. There's not going to be a court that's going to say take down your house. It's not likely, right, Barb? That's just probably not likely.
It depends on the facts. I mean, you're all talking about things we're assuming and things that we think and things that what we don't know. And that's, I can't give any sort of advice until I know exactly what it is.
So if she goes, they don't let her see the inside. Then what steps do we? Then what do we do from there?
I don't know. I would check with other zoning administrators.
Well, and they did sign off on, I mean, they signed off on the permit, and it does explicitly state at the bottom of the permit, I understand that the county assessor's office will be out for building assessment and photos. I understand county zoning will inspect completed structure for issuance of certificate of occupancy. So that is another thing that they did sign that. So
I never got a response. Who is you?
Yes, you did.
Sorry.
I sent a response.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
I didn't, I never saw it. For me. Oh, I'll double check it. I'm not saying you did. I'm just saying I didn't.
so with those, historically, they have not been used in our office. It is something that when they complete the project that they ask for, I will do, but it's not something that has been regularly done.
Right, and I sent a follow-up. That's
Okay.
how we know for that. Is it's in the regulations that it's highlighted on the application. So who issues sort of the law?
The zoning regulations mention that the zoning administrator will do an inspection, so it's Marissa that would issue that by regulation. It says that when the project's complete, the zoning administrator will do an inspection.
So there are no certificates
No.
No,
that are issued.
not right. I think what Marissa's saying is not right now. That doesn't mean that we can't and shouldn't. I think as part of and I think I responded and said, well, maybe it's more of approval of occupancy instead of certificate, but that's just a word change. I think probably you do need to issue those. And I think like it's just a document, and I'm sure Barb could help you with reviewing it, but it's just, yep, I've been out here, you're signing, they're signing, saying, they built what they said they were going to build. Basically, that's what a zoning inspection is. And then we would go from there. So that document could be fairly simple. And I think if you were to go out there to do the inspection and explain that that's why you're there so that you can issue that, that might be helpful. I don't think it has to be big and fancy by any means.
I think I have a draft of
Okay.
one.
Okay.
Because we had discussed it previously.
Okay. I still don't think there's any clarity as far as what goes on. Yes, Marissa can go out, look, verify that what the pictures are what the pictures are. There is more than 600 square feet. I guess what I'm asking is what happens next.
Can't know that itself. You just can't work on it. I can't make assumptions because I don't know exactly what it is.
Humor me that the assumption is correct.
I can't because
Okay.
I don't know what
Okay.
what assumption it is that you're making.
That's fine.
Okay, so next steps on this one specifically, let's go out, do an inspection. I think this is in Scott's district. Scott, if you wouldn't mind joining her, I think that would be helpful. And then let's just bring it back around. Okay, sound good?
Sounds great.
And then we'll ask for direction. Okay, let's go to our next one, which is reviewing an unpermitted new structure in precinct A and consider necessary action.
So the assessor's office brought this one to me as well. It was a new building that was built between 2022 and 2024, according to our imagery. I do not have a permit for this. I know in the information I sent you, it was a home. That was an assumption. I have now reworded that to where it's a structure. The assessor's office has reached out to the individuals, and they have more information on what was said. I don't want to try to relay everything that was told to me, but it is from the gist of what I got, and Marilyn can clarify for me. It is a shop garage area that may someday be an ADU. may not be.
It's hard to tell from the pictures. The roof line makes it look like a residence, but you're saying it's like a metal building.
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Marilyn.
I'm inviting myself.
That's okay. You're invited.
Thank you.
Yes, I am. You can definitely have the wheel on this one.
I had called Scott Kibbick back on Friday, actually, and I had to leave my voicemail. He actually got back with me yesterday morning. This is what he told me. He said he called 3 years ago. He does not know who he talked to, whether it was the assessor or who it was. And I said, well, it wasn't the assessor because I'm the assessor and I've been here 31 years and I would not have told you you do not need a building permit. But whoever he talked to told him you absolutely do not need a building permit. Then,
Did they say why he didn't need a building permit?
what?
Did he say why that person told him he didn't need a building
No,
permit?
I didn't
Okay.
catch that either. But anyway, and then,
Sorry. I didn't mean to.
oh, then the builder, when he came in, he started, the builder says, now you do have your building permit, don't you? And he says, no, they told me I didn't need one. So it got built. And he told me that it's a shop, and if you look on Eagle View, you can see there's 2 garage doors, overhead garage doors, and then the other side, there's just kind of a walk-in door down on the end. And he says it's mostly garage and shop. And eventually he's trying now to get in rough and plumbing. It's a shell inside, just with stud walls. And the wiring's not complete. The walls and foundation were done about 2.5 years ago. And he's just plugging away and doing things on it as he has time. And I said, well, I would have never told you don't need a permit because, number one, that's not my department, but I was referring you on to who needs it, if you need one or not. And if not, there's still a form that needs to be filled out if you build have anything more than cost of $2,500. That has to be filled out given to the assessor's office, and that also was not done. And he says, well, I want to be in compliance, and he says you can come out anytime, you can see it. I'm off this week. I'm home. Friday's the best day for him, and he says I want to get this straight and be sure to be in compliance.
So I know that you are out of office on Fridays. Is this something that you could also potentially, maybe you and Marilyn could go together and help Marissa's office out and just kind of take a look and also explain the regulation, explain the fact that he does have to have a permit. And if he turns that into an ADU, he definitely needs a permit and maybe what the regulation says.
Is this not something that the zoning assistant could do?
The zoning assistant does not work on Fridays. She works as an emergency manager only on Fridays.
What are you talking about, an accessory building?
Accessory dwelling.
Well, it's a lot bigger than that, though.
Right.
But it could be a CDU, combined dwelling unit, meaning it could have the shop space and the dwelling space, as long as that dwelling space is under 600 square feet and it has a primary residence. So he would not be able to exceed 600 square feet. So I think it's just letting him know that. It would appear that that is his plan. Maybe he just doesn't know the regulation. So I think a conversation with him could be helpful. And he needs a building permit.
Marilyn, he actually told you that the builder said he needed a permit.
He asked if he got the permit.
Builders just do that randomly, build a house without permit.
They should not.
No,
Sometimes.
but when they asked the property owner if you got your building permit, the property owner says, I didn't need one. That should have been a flag for the property owner that maybe I should have. That's my take on it.
But he thought he was all okay with putting this up.
Typically, the contractor will tell you that you need a building permit, and then you need to go into said office to obtain a building permit, or
They
they
would-
say, I will go on your behalf and obtain the necessary building permit.
I shouldn't even speculate. Pointless to speculate, but I do remember there being a lot of discussion around 3 years ago when we had a previous zoning administrator about ag buildings and not needing to get a permit for an ag building. specifically for use of the farm. So I'm wondering if that conversation wasn't what was had. But when they had that conversation, they still talked about the form that needs to be filed out or filled out for Maryland's office. So I don't know. It's pointless to speculate, but that's kind of
So this is an old field. You probably know what the
Uh-huh.
difference is, and it's actually 28.68 acres. So I don't have it as ag. I have it as rural residential.
it is.
It is.
And when you look at old fields and stuff, there's not anybody really farming it.
Again, I don't know if this person called or not. I don't know if they said this is where I live or if they just said I'm gonna build an ag building and maybe we're given an answer. We have no way of knowing.
Well, and it doesn't really matter because there's no record of it.
Yep.
So regardless.
Okay, so he needs a permit, so he has to pay for the permit. And then if he's going to change from this, then he needs and maybe we get him to permit it for what the intended use is and just explain the resolution.
I did tell him that he needed to call someone.
Okay. I'm good.
And you haven't heard anything.
I do have one question with where this is located. Those are all private roads,
Mhm.
private drives. And I had asked this question of Scott last week. When it's an unpermitted building, we don't have a form that says that we can go to their property. So with it being so far down a private drive, is that something that I'm allowed to do in a county vehicle?
It sounds like he's already given permission
Uh-huh.
for
But
the
this was
assessor.
prior to him giving permission. So if I had just received this,
Well, yeah, because
mean-
the county assessor, they have to do assessments. So I live on a
Yesterday he
private
said-
drive. People come down all day, every day.
Okay.
I've
Be careful, there's a.
Right,
tenant
there's,
out there.
but also, I mean, I think it
I'm
would be,
interested in that. 'Cause
it,
I was told it doesn't matter.
it would,
If you have signs up left and right, it would not matter.
it would be in the county's best interest to contact the individual to state, we need to come in and do an inspection of the property.
Yeah.
I mean,
we just don't always have contact information for them. And sometimes it's hard to find.
Sounds
We
like
had
we
to
have
dig
it.
for this one.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a plan?
Good plan.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you, Marissa.
Thank you.
thank you.
All right, we'll take a 6-minute pause before 10:15 time to item.
First day going.
Overwhelmed. Kaylee brought me flowers.